Welcome to another edition of Political Empire. This is Jeff Horseman with the Press Enterprise and PE.com. And today we're going to be focusing on a local congressional Democrat who the National Party is kind of maybe a little worried about in terms of re-election for 2014. And then we're going to be talking about lots of misspent money at the state level, particularly when it comes to these wildlife areas. So first, newly elected Congressman Raul Ruiz, a Palm Desert Democrat, is on a list of congressional Democratic incumbents deemed vulnerable to a challenge next year. Now, you may remember Dr. Ruiz defeated veteran Palm Springs Republican Mary Bono Mack last fall in the redrawn 36th congressional district, receiving just under 53% of the vote. The 36th is expected to be another battleground in 2014. As of last week, the district's voter registration was almost equally divided, 39% Democratic to 38.7% Republican. Now we're going to move on to the mishandling of agricultural lease revenue, first discovered at the San Jacinto Wildlife Area. Well, it turns out it extends to wildlife areas across the state. This is according to the California Department of Fish and Wildlife. Now, Press Enterprise reporter David Danelski and PE reporter Jim Miller did some of the initial reporting on this, and Jim is joining us by phone to talk about this latest revelation. So, Jim, talk about these leases and how they were mishandled.
Sure. Hey, well, yeah, like you were saying, last summer, David Danelski did a story about, kind of raised some questions. Well, I should back up. These wildlife areas sometimes enter into leases with adjoining farms or ranchers that, in return for getting permission to, farm some of the wildlife area land, to use some of the land for grazing or for farming, they also do do some maintenance activities, or they just pay the state. And what was going on here, according to a state audit that came out in December, and more recently a statewide review by the Department of Fish and Wildlife, is the money that was being paid by the lessees was kind of staying local. It was not going into the special state fund like it was supposed to. It was, for lack of a better description, essentially being kept off the books, and it was, paying for operations and maintenance at a particular wildlife area. It was paying for Home Depot gift cards, which were ostensibly used to purchase equipment and tools and whatnot for a particular wildlife area, and that is contrary to a whole bunch of state rules and regulations, and it's I'll just add real quick. It's kind of the latest instance of this sort of thing happening with special state funds. You'll recall with Department of Parks and Recreation, and then more recently with the Department of Department of Forestry and Fire Protection. There were these kind of off-the-books funds that lawmakers are highly concerned about.
All right, so what's being done to address this situation?
They are getting scrutinized by lawmakers and by the administration itself. Just this morning, or I should say Wednesday morning, in fact, the Joint Legislative Audit Committee approved an audit that was requested by the panel's chairman, who has been closely following both the Fish and Wildlife Special Fund case, and then also the CAL FIRE Special Fund. So the interesting thing is going to be if more of this crops up, and there are hundreds of these special funds around state government. And there have already been some investigations and audits of their contents, and but I think it's going to be an issue that's going to be scrutinized for several months to come.
All right. Well, thanks for staying on top of this, Jim. We appreciate it. And thank you for watching Political Empire. We'll see you next time.